Hi there, how are we? Now look, I want to just start off the stream with just a heartfelt word to the Newcastle fans. Jokes aside, there's no need to thank us. I know you're saying to yourself, aren't these lads from Liverpool absolutely top notch, coming in, helping us with our PSR issues, helping us with the rebuild? And honestly, it's what we're about. You know, as a football club, we're a community club and we're here to help. So if us handing over £130 million, which let's be honest, we can do, if that helps Newcastle out in building a new striker, a centre back, I mean, I think it's the least that we can do. So just to kick us off tonight, no need to thank me. No need to thank us, Newcastle fans. It's okay. You know, you're welcome. We're friends. This is what we do. So loads to get through tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We'll probably talk about a striker at some point in the evening, but for now, you know, you're welcome. That's all I'm going to say. You're welcome. And by the way, look, seriously, I know as a Newcastle fan, you're sick of the sight of Liverpool. You're sick of the sight of me. You're sick of the sight of us talking about Isak. I get it. I really do. If I was in your shoes, I'd hate me. I'd hate Liverpool. And I'd be saying the same thing. But there's one thing that you just need to understand here. If there's no chance that Isak's leaving, and if we don't understand the meaning of the word no, why are you also concerned? You know, I've seen so many people in my comments today saying, can you not read? Can Liverpool fans not understand he's not for sale? Then why are you so concerned? Just go about your daily business, pop into your Newcastle streams, enjoy yourself, safe in the knowledge that there's nothing to worry about. Because if there's nothing to worry about, you're all wasting your time, right? Or is there? Laser sharp said I can hear the chants already. Hugo, Hugo, Hugo. I take it you mean ringing around St. James's Park. Asking you between Isak, Rodrigo and Ekitike, who would you prefer, is probably pointless, but are you excited no matter what like me? I don't know how it works out. I don't know if there's any way we get Isak. I don't. But we have got to a point where I would say even Newcastle fans, who again I do have every sympathy for in this situation, it's kind of at the point now where Liverpool have said, sell us Isak or we're going to take Ekitike. And look, these aren't my words. This is just what's happening in the market at the minute. It's very much a case of Liverpool saying, look, if Isak isn't available, that's your prerogative, Newcastle, but we're going to get Ekitike then. So you best probably start your search for another striker again. Because, well, one, we can afford to do it. And two, we truly do believe Isak wants to move to Liverpool. So let's wait and see what happens. He's a Newcastle player and they are perfectly within their rights to keep saying no. But remember what Newcastle's own chief executive said a while back, that sometimes the club has to take a step backwards to take two steps forward. And let's be honest, you're never going to get that much money for Isak again. So let's see how this one pans out, because today is the day where Liverpool have played their hand and declared their interest in Isak and Ekitike. So let's wait and see how it goes. Nomad said Newcastle would be stupid not to cash in on Isak. It would get them clear of PSR concerns and could fund a small rebuild. Exactly. It could. And look, again, I have nothing but love for my Geordie friends. Honestly, I love the club. I've said it before. I think they're a great bunch. And I always enjoy when we play against them. And their fans are always top notch. But I want Liverpool to get the best that's out there. And I think, as a fan, as a footballing person, if Newcastle turned down £130 million for Isak, that's crazy. Because like you just said there a second ago, my man, that could move Newcastle clear of PSR concerns and help them take that next step on. And look, for what it's worth, Newcastle fans, I don't think Alexander Isak is worth £130 million. I don't think he's worth £120 million. I don't think he's really worth £100 million. But it's not my decision who Liverpool go after. And it definitely does look like today we've played our hand. So look, I'm going to read you through some of the stories around Isak and Ekitike and give you a flavour of where we are. And then we'll jump in for a conversation. So, David Ornstein said, Isak and Ekitike remain prominent in Liverpool's thinking, but various factors would need to align for such interest to develop. That's how the day started off. Then we had Lee Ryder, who I believe covers Newcastle. Newcastle's move for Ekitike has alerted Liverpool on two accounts. Arne Slot remains keen on Isak. The Swedish international is Liverpool's number one target. Secondly, Ekitike was looked at as a backup option for the Reds if they could not get Isak, something that may yet spark a response. On top of that, we have Ornstein saying Liverpool make approach to sign Alexander Isak from Newcastle. Liverpool say no formal bid, but are well aware of Newcastle's stance is always been that he's not for sale. Liverpool have communicated their interest in a deal for the 25-year-old in the region of £120 million. After that, Fabrizio Romano said, Liverpool's management have informed Newcastle about their plans to submit a £120 million proposal for Alexander Isak if the door is open to do so. On top of that, Sasha Cavalieri said things changed in the mind of Newcastle's owners regarding Alexander Isak. Unsellable in June, the Magpies have now opened up the possibility of his departure, having advanced on Hugo Ekitike. The price, £120 million upwards. Liverpool management informed Newcastle that we're going to be moving for £120 million. The Athletic have said Newcastle have long insisted Isak is not for sale at any price, but that has always felt reliant on Isak's own stance. The club have never expected him to push to leave, but should he be attracted by the prospect of moving to Anfield, perhaps that changes now that an approach has been made. The newspaper reporters from the paper who we refuse to acknowledge say Liverpool are stepping up attempts to bolster their striking options, with Newcastle forward Alexander Isak having emerged as their leading target. There's a growing feeling that Isak could be tempted by a new challenge with the Premier League champions. Then we also have the Anfield Buzz reporting there's fears at Newcastle that Liverpool's approach today was to unsettle Isak, who's in Austria for the pre-season. Luke Edwards of The Telegraph writes, Liverpool will be willing to offer around £120 million, but that has prompted the Newcastle hierarchy to reiterate the message that he isn't for sale. It remains to be seen whether that deters Liverpool. The suspicion is they would not have made an approach if they had not received encouragement to do so. And that's the interesting part of this for me, ladies and gentlemen. Have we received that encouragement to do so? Yes. Yes, we have. And I know, again, this isn't something Newcastle fans want to hear. I get it. But my job here as a Liverpool fan is to report the news and to talk about the subjects that are happening. And I'm not writing these articles. Prominent journalists are writing these pieces and talking about these pieces. And whatever Newcastle fans want to say, the interest is there. And it is at a point now where we'll find out fairly quickly whether Newcastle are going to get Ekitike, whether Liverpool are going to hijack the move, or whether Liverpool are going to continue to try and push for Isak. But either way, it's about time we start acting this way as a football club. So I'm here for it. Again, he is a Newcastle player. Newcastle are perfectly within their rights to keep saying no. But it gets to a point where every player has a number. And Newcastle have ambitions to continue to develop and become an even bigger club than they already are. They want regular Champions League football. They got a taste of winning the League Cup when they beat us at Wembley. And they want to build on that. And I get that. But it's stages. I know that they've got very wealthy owners, and I know that in a world without PSR, Newcastle would probably be able to be funded to do whatever they want. But the way the structure currently is, Liverpool have the most wiggle room in the Premier League and the ability to really push and test Newcastle's resolve. And that is going to be tested over the next month.